into game number 1.
More surprising for NIP Flash, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time we saw Curtisi on an actual mage? You know, does the Farsa have like the Decimate ulti? Is this the new Farsa or what? Because yeah, Curtisi, we have seen him on mages before. Just it's not the common. It's not the thing we usually think about when we think Curtisi. But let's see how it works out up against SRG's Bruno and Yums' Guinevere.
Yes, because if there's one thing I would immediately want to point out when it comes to Curtisi and his confidence heading into this game, it's that he's not picking up the Purify on the Farsa. So he's really confident in terms of positioning, or it's important that he has to be, because Yums would probably be constantly on the hunt for him, but it's not just Yums actually, it's even Sekai's, it's Cram. There's a lot of members from SRG who could just hunt the backlines of NIP Flash.
Yeah, it does seem like for NIP Flash, their draft is more to shut down Bruno and Joy, right? Yves is going to have a very good time, I would say, the Guinevere and Cram on Hilda. We should see Cram able to get into that backline, but again, JPL goes in. Oh, what was that damage? Hades! A double kill, Yums and Skies disappeared!
And I'm not sure if there was the Sacred Hammer too, or it was just JPL right in front of 2 members of SRG, but that was a beautiful Blade Surge.
What was that?
Stunning 2 members and that immediate burst down as well. So I think this is also one thing you'd have to be careful if you were SRG up against NIP. The amount of early game damage that they have in their hands, they could literally burst down any member they spot out from SRG at this point. Both Hades, Curtisi, and probably even a bit of like poke here and there from Vanix on the Nathan.
I'm still surprised that that dealt that much damage. It's not like he went for Thrill, so there's a bit more damage there. Season Hunter, Impure Rage, yeah, nothing too crazy there. Bargain Hunter for Vanix though means that, yeah, like LaFell said, we might get like some power spikes very early on. If Vanix is able to just farm up and go even with Innocent on the Bruno, we might actually see the power spikes be very, very similar to each other, the timing at least. It's tenacity too, by the way, for Innocent. This is something I'm personally not used to seeing. We usually see more of an aggressive stance for Mr. Innocent. Great push. Wow, Hades with a blink getting away from the spatial migration. That's the glory. Oh my lord, Yums just disappeared again. Curtisi will be traded in. But NIP Flash are playing so good.
Yeah, Curtisi stood there. He knew they were winning anyway. And you could see the priority of NIP Flash in terms of objectives. Diablo just making sure he would be accompanying his other members even though he doesn't get his hands on the level 4 yet. The glorious pathway wasn't even necessary for them to be able to burst down and secure that objective. So NIP Flash, they're off to a really good start, and that pretty much reflects in terms of the gold between our 2 junglers. Hades, I mean 3-0 for this Suyo in the early game. You would understand why he's this much ahead.
Yeah, 3-0, 1.2k gold lead against the Joy and Diablo. Here, Electrifying Beats, Diablo should fall. Oh, he jukes him! Revitalize, gets away. He's gonna buy a lot of time and a lot of positions from SRG will have to be given away to rotate over to deal with Mr. Diablo. For the airstrike though, on the Stormy, that's 1, 2, 3 hits, 4 hits. Every single one of those feathered airstrikes was on Mr. Stormy.
Why does it feel like Curtisi, if only second skill even hit at that moment, could have bursted down Stormy in a full combo. That pretty much reflects how NIP Flash is ahead, but Hades spots Sekai's. And one thing at least for SRG is just how ahead their Expelade is, but oh wait, Vanix with the Purify.
Yep, escaping from the spatial migration, Violet Requiem combo, just wanting to play safe in this weak side. He knows the team is doing well right now, so there's no reason for him to actually walk in, do anything aggressive, just play it by the book, passive, and farm up. Whoa, right.
What is this?
Oh, the timing was good. Oh, a bit unfortunate timing for Hades there. He was charging up that skill 1, that stun, but Yums came out a bit late from the bush. Good timing from Yums. And now, turtle number 2, bottom lane, Cram diving! The turret is nothing to Cram, but it does give all the prio over to NIP Flash up top around the turtle. So it'll be a kill on Vanix, traded for the 2nd turtle of the game.
You gotta take note of this. SRG, it's not even their mid laner, it's not even their roamer suddenly rotating to the bottom lane. It's their XP laner rotating to the bottom lane, helping Innocent. So the priorities for Cram, you're seeing it. Like, just how focused they are in terms of securing that early game for Innocent as well. And they're about to take out almost all of the energy shields. But for Vanix, it is equally important for him to not get picked off. I mean, they should be wary of that. These rotations from Selangor Giants, they're pathing. It's really interesting.
And it's back to just a farming battle for both these teams, you know? Not really going for anything, any invades, ambushes, aggressive takes. NIP Flash, they want to farm. Same goes for SRG. They still have a very, very good mid-game power spike with Stormy and Innocent. So if there's no neutral objective, don't really expect any of these teams to be looking for big plays around the map.
Yep. So for now, we were just waiting for that next neutral objective potentially and that major rotation that we'll be seeing from both of these teams. Because again, Crab here in the mid lane, adding a bit of pressure as well. And it's kind of limits overall the rotations that NIP Flash could do as well. But Hades versus Sekai's in the top lane. But even in the bottom lane, there's action too!
The Worldie! Bouncing from the mini waves. Innocent getting the solo kill there. JPL with a good shove to escape. Oh! That's an implosion for the airstrike. Almost dealt with him. The stun over to Yomes. It should be a trade. No, he flickers out. Great timing from Stormy to pop in that RWM. Good field of immobility to stop NIP Flash from getting that trade.
Such clutch timings from both of these teams in terms of using their crucial battle spells and even ultimates just to save each other. But this is looking pretty good for SRG. They're able to get their hands on the tier 1 lane up top, and they might just get their hands on the bottom lane tier 1 turret too. So with just that amount of pressure, which we thought initially would have been favorable for NIP Flash, it's actually SRG who gets the better of it. But Yums immunes himself with a Violet Cream. So NIP Flash, they know which resources are gone, but they still want to go for this turtle.
Bottom lane shoved in. Does seem like Vanix will be joining the team here as he shoves into mid lane. JPL doesn't have the flicker, doesn't have that instant engage. Diablo lowers pathway to try to zone them away. Spatial migration comes in, but Hades just wins it out. Yum's very low. Hades going in. That's a kill. Mega kill for Hades as SRG take or concede the turtle and say, all right, we've got enough. We're going back off.
Yeah, and NIP Flash, I think they're slowly finding their way to play around SRG's pattern in terms of the team fights. Wait.
Nice steal.
They got it away from Hades. Still pretty much ahead in terms of gold. I mean, no one's leading more than Innocent, though. If it was just gold that we're talking about, he's pretty much ahead of everyone. But those who are able to convert it earlier, it was SRG, but gradually NIP Flash, it seems like they're slowly making their way towards SRG's jungle as well.
Purify baited out. No flicker for JPL still. They're going to try to go for the steal. The retribution from Hades will secure the purple buff. And that's info. No Purify for Stormy.
Yeah, and they just got their purple buff too. They've had some form of revenge from NIP Flash. So now we're looking at the current situation wherein we barely get to feel the discrepancy in terms of gold. It seems like it's such an equal game between both of these teams. Even in terms of skill score, they're just having exchanges here and there. So I feel like it's very important that we see who gets the better of the other in terms of the objective fights and the neutrals. But then, even before that, slowly, NIP Flash working their way macro-wise in terms of the game as well. So it feels like they're just being so careful about their engages. This is not the typical hyper-aggressive approach we're seeing from either of these two teams.
Definitely not. Yeah, I guess, you know, they've learned from their mistakes, you know. Early on in the Swiss stage, we saw just how aggressive SRG were in the best of ones. Didn't really pay off for them. So they've learned from that. Now they're going to play more to their win conditions. NIP Flash, on the other hand, they got a lot of success by playing a lot of the aggressive strategies in the Swiss stage, but I guess it's just because of the composition. They have a Farsa and an Atan. So if SRG want to play it slow, NIP Flash are gladly going to try to match that as well with this composition. They will gladly take the late game, the mid game too. We'll see. Item. Glorious Pathway. That's a spatial migration used already. Feather Airstrike though! Ooh, that's a very low courtesy with the flicker out. Cram trying to go in dive, and Hades zones skies away. Big resources used up before the Lord.
Yeah, but I just want to say, Cram, he's just so consistent in making sure that NIP Flash will be able to position themselves well, but no, Stormy! He doesn't get saved by the Purify!
Doesn't matter, the Purify. Diablo with the DOT! Damage over time, slowly getting Stormy down. Diablo is an assassin with a high loss. JPL goes in for the flicker implosion. doesn't find anyone. Innocent, meanwhile, getting a spatial migration. Violet Requiem, they're getting split up for their airstrike, and JPL's going to be picked off on the other side of the map as well.
Oh no. 3 members left for NIP Flash, and this might just be a 4v3 or a 5v3 since Stormy is about to return as well. So guys just trying to pressure them a bit. There's a reset though for the Lord, but they're not stopping anyway. That's a spatial migration once again!
Connecting Hades, unable to do anything. Skies gets the shutdown, and Cram is trying to go for the flank power. Wilderness, Curtizi, Cyber escape, Edison gets the fadeaway shot. Vanix forced the entropy back, and SRG gets the 2,100 gold lead plus the Lord.
We were just talking about how NIP Flash could have just managed everything considering their composition, and even way back in the drafting phase, earlier they didn't have much of range, but when they picked up the Farsa, you would have thought that they were already able to answer just that. They have ways to reach Innocent, they already have ways to dish out damage from afar, but SRG, they also have the range in terms, or in Stormy, and it's not just that. There's no one in NIP Flash doing the same job as Cram. There's no one in NIP Flash just forcing out the cancels on the Fettered Airstrike and forcing those 2 damage dealers to stick together to make sure that they don't get picked off by the Hilda. And now it's SRG slowly knocking on NIP Flash's base. Holy defense already used for the bottom lane turrets, and they just have to really work their defense to this.
RWM2 trying to get Innocent as much room as possible. You can see the 2 basic attacks on Vanix there. Luckily for Vanix, that did not crit. Wow, it was just so stunning to see that Lord fight, right? It was like NIP Flash were everywhere, and SRG just capitalized on every single mistake. They got the top lane as JPL failed the Implosion Flicker. They killed Diablo, who was alone with no initiator. And then the shutdown happened as Hades tried to recover the situation. And now SRG find themselves with a 5,000 gold lead. It's just clean from SRG.
Yeah, look at Innocent and his items. He's just lacking one more item, whereas Vanix was just able to pick up his Holy Crystal, but is still looking for more in order to dish out the necessary damage. For the other members too, I think for TC at least, we would be expecting some sort of damage as well, but SRG, at this point, I think they'd be pretty much okay with sustaining all that. He doesn't even get to just use the Fettered Airstrike as freely as he wants to. There's always pressure from Cram and even Sekai's whenever there's a team fight. So I don't think NIP Flash, they're able to capitalize on their team fighting as much.
Not at all. Now they're really going to have to wait for late game. Vanix already has the Holy Crystal. Does Vanix have enough to actually deal with Cram? Because Cram has been a nuisance. So Stormy, hot opposition. Diablo goes in for the airstrike as well. Purify used. Oh, spatial migration! Finds Curtizi. An implosion though to catch him now. Vanix, will he be able to go through everybody's skies? Is on a killing spree. And it just melts Mr. Man Vanix on the Natan. Innocent looking for 3 members down for NIP Flash.
And it seems like NIP Flash grouping up together didn't work as well, because that was a beautiful spatial migration for Dooms, and it seems like this might just be their walk towards the base.
Diablo's doing a good job at baiting and buying time, but he will be slain. Now it's just JPL with a shove onto the minions. Curtizi finds himself back alive. That's a respawn timer for the airstrike into the cannon minion. They will be able to delay it a bit more. Hades and Vanix will spawn again. SRG still wanting to go for the end. Hades jumping in spatial migration. The minions have been dealt with. They're going to go for it, but Hades is still there. It doesn't even matter. Melfic gun range on the Bruno gets it done for SRG in game 1.
They didn't even want to reach the late game, nor even probably stay in the mid game. SRG ends it in less than 14 minutes.